Well, this is an interesting turn of events because Barham Salih, who was yesterday elected by parliament to become president, didn't have the backing of the most prominent Kurdish bloc, which is the KDP, the Kurdistan Democratic Party. So for the first time, the Kurds went into this process divided. But he was able to win over MPs. There was a secret vote in parliament, which shows you that MPs were able to vote as they chose rather than necessarily along their party line, so to speak. So that was quite a positive development. Prime Minister al-Oraibi was quick to congratulate his now successor, Adel Abdel Mahdi. Barham Salih, as soon as he was elected as president, named Adel Abdel Mahdi as Prime Minister designate. Adel Abdel Mahdi has previously worked as Minister of Oil. Barham Salih was previously Minister of Planning in the Iraqi government. So they know what the stakes are inside of Iraq. I think it will be actually a positive move forward.
And in terms of what happens next in that country, obviously the U.S. Embassy in Basra, or the consulate, they've decided to close that. Bone of contention there. Yes. There's also a lot of concern regionally about what's happening there and the spread of Iranian influence as well. How is this going to impact what's happening as we look forward to these Iran sanctions in November?
Well, Adel Abdel Mahdi, the new prime minister, is quite close to Iran, and that's something to keep watching. Barham Salih has good connections with Iran, with the Americans. Brett McGurk, the U.S. envoy to counter ISIS, was one of the first people who went to visit Barham Salih yesterday. So he has quite a regional and global standing. That's different. Now, of course, the Iranians felt pressure from the Americans over the past few months, especially last week at the UN General Assembly, and they are going to start pushing back. And that means they use their proxies, whether it is militias on the ground in Iraq, whether it's in Lebanon or other places. So there is concern that Iraq gets caught in the middle of all this fight. And the challenge for the next government is to prove that it will protect Iraq's sovereignty, including pushing back against some of those militias.
Hi there, Mina. It's Nancy here in Singapore. Just on that point, I mean, we talk about the U.S. concerns over Iran very much featured in the recent UNGA on both sides, though. When it comes to delivering this message, I mean, who do you think came out on top? How was it received overall at the Assembly?
Well, there's divisions. It's clear the Europeans want to still make the Iran nuclear program work. They have their own economic interests at stake. But the Americans are definitely winning over people in this part of the world, in the Arab world, because there are concerns about Iran's influence. The Chinese and the Russians, who have publicly been pushing back against the against the American line, are actually now taking into consideration the sanctions that will come into force on the 4th of November and taking into account the problematic Iranian actions. We heard yesterday from the French that there was this plot that was foiled that could have led to a bomb in the heart of Paris. That is changing even the calculations of the Europeans now.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.